Okay guys, so we are starting quadratics this week, and we're going to start by multiplying binomials. So when we multiply binomials, we create quadratic functions. So we're going to be pulling from our exponent review last week. The product property of exponents is going to come into play here. So we're looking at when we multiply same bases, we add our exponents, so that's going to be important. And I'm going to show you two different methods on how to organize your work for multiplying binomials. Okay, so we have two different methods. The first one we have is the area method. And the second one we have is the distributive property. Okay, and it does not matter to me what you use. I am just providing you with both so that you can choose your favorite. I do tend to see students gravitate towards the area method just because it's easier to organize yourself and organize your work. So I do tend to see students do that more frequently than the distributive property. I also tend to notice that the more comfortable you get with multiplying binomials, students tend to start with the area model and then gravitate towards the distributive property. So really, whatever you prefer is fine. I'm going to show you both. So basically, we are going to be multiplying k minus 2 times k minus 3. Okay, so that means that everything in the first binomial has to be multiplied by everything in the second binomial. Okay, so, and binomial just means two terms. Okay, so binomial just means two terms. Okay, so the area method, we're going to use this lovely box, and the reason it's called the area method is because when you multiply the length and the width of a box, you get the area of the box. So we're going to set up a box, a 2 by 2 box, and our side lengths are going to be our two binomials. Okay, so our one side length is k minus 2, and our other side length will be the second binomial, k minus 3. Okay. And you might be wondering, well, does it matter if I put k minus 3 down the side and k minus 2 at the top? It does not matter. Okay, so if you switch up your sides, that would be fine. So we are going to multiply these together. And for those of you who have been in biology, this is kind of like a Punnett square. I've heard students refer to it as a Punnett square, where you're trying to find, like, you know, the probability of having blue eyes. So when we look at this top left box, we're multiplying these two terms. So this top left box, we're looking at k times k. And if we multiply k times k, our laws of exponents tell us that we're going to add the exponents. So k to the first times k to the first will give me k to the second. Right, we're going to move along. So now this box, the top right box, is actually k times negative 3, which would give me negative 3k. Okay, let's look at the second row. I have negative 2 times k, which gives me negative 2k. And then in my bottom right box, I have negative 2 times negative 3, which will give me a positive 6. Okay. Inside of this box is your quadratic. So we're just going to write it out. K squared minus 3k minus 2k plus 6. And then we're going to look and see if there are any like terms that we can combine. And if you look at the middle, both of these have a coefficient, and then they have k to the first. So because both of these variables are k to the first power, we can combine them. They are like terms, and we know what like terms are. We've done this a lot. So if I take negative 3k minus 2k, that gives me negative 5k. And then the plus 6 just rides along. Okay, so this is our quadratic that we've created, and quadratic just means that you have a power of 2. Your highest exponent is a power of 2. Okay, so that's our quadratic. That's using the area method. So now I'm going to look at the same product, but using the distributive property. Okay, so I'm going to start with k minus 2 times k minus 3. And we're going to use the distributive property. Okay, so that means that everything in the first binomial has to be multiplied by everything in the second. So that means that k has to be multiplied by k minus 3. So I'm going to set that up. K times k minus 3. That also means that negative 2 has to be multiplied by k minus 3. So I'm going to set that up. I need to take negative 2 and multiply it by k minus 3. So everything in the first binomial is multiplied by everything in the second. Okay? From here, guys, we know what to do. We are really good at using that distributive property. So we're going to distribute. Distribute the k. K times k would give me k squared. K times negative 3 would give me negative 3k. I also need to distribute the negative 2, which would give me negative 2k. And then negative 2 times negative 3 would give me a positive 6. Now, if you look at this, hopefully you're seeing that this line right here is exactly what you have in the box in the area method. Okay, so both methods will give you the same answer. And we're going through the same process at this point. We're going to combine our like terms. So k squared minus 5k plus 6 is the quadratic that we have built. Okay, so it's important to build these quadratics because the next thing that we're going to do later on in the week is we're going to, and into next week, we're going to be unbuilding the quadratics. So we're building them now by multiplying, and then towards the end of this week and into next week, we're going to be given the quadratic and we're going to work backwards to find out what the two binomials were. Okay, let's take a look at one more example. Okay, again, I'm going to give you both methods. I'm going to show you the area method again and the distributive property. Okay, let me draw my box here. This area method would work for anything. You could use it for a monomial times a trinomial. It just, your box would be a different size. Okay, so 2x minus 3 is my first binomial, so I'm just going to put that down the side. And then 3x plus 3 is my second binomial. Okay, just like the Punnett square, guys. So 3x times 2x, I multiply the 3 times the 2, which gives me 6. And x times x gives me x squared. 2x times 3 gives me 6x. Negative 3 times 3x gives me negative 9x. And negative 3 times positive 3 gives me negative 9. And then I'm just going to write this out below. 6x squared plus 6x minus 9x minus 9. I'm looking for any like terms, and in the center I have two terms that have x to the first, so I can combine those. When I have positive 6 and negative 9, that gives me a negative 3x minus 9. Okay, so there's our quadratic. Let's go back and let's use the distributive property. So 2x minus 3 times 3x plus 3. Okay, remember I take everything in the first binomial, so 2x times 3x plus 3. So 2x minus 3, everything in that first binomial has to get multiplied by everything in the second one. So I'm going to start with the 2x times everything in the second. And then I'm going to take the minus 3 times everything in the second. Okay, and now this just becomes a distributive property problem, which we know how to do. So 2x times 3x and 2x times 3. When I multiply that out, would give me 6x squared plus 6x. I now need to take negative 3 and distribute that. So negative 3 times negative 3, or negative 3 times 3x is negative 9x, and negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. Okay, and again, hopefully you're seeing that this line right here is what you have in your box in the area method. And we need to take that same last step by combining like terms. So 6x squared minus 3x minus 9. And you are done.